Hi all, this is a quick video about finding a placement. So the whole idea of this placement is that you're going to be accruing 24 hours within an alternative setting to a primary school. In year two, you're going to have a year two school placement, so you'll be in a primary school. But this is really an opportunity for you guys to go and explore some different avenues for your future. So it could be anything from a play group to working with children to a charity to if you can work with a speech and language therapist, if you can work with education psychologist, if you could work in a pupil referral unit, maybe even a secondary school. So these are really an opportunity for you to think about what are you interested in. It gives you a really good opportunity for you to think about, if not teaching, then what else could you do? There's a number of our graduates actually don't become teachers, and a lot of them do some really different things. So a lot of them work within education, but not as classroom teachers. So this gives you the opportunity for 24 hours to go and experience life doing something that could interest you. First place to start, obviously, is friends, family. Go and speak to any friends and family that potentially you could go and get some work experience with them and volunteer. Remember, this is a voluntary observational placement, so you're meant to be just looking. You can obviously lend a support. There needs to be some benefit to the employer or the organisation, otherwise they're just not going to want you to come in. Obviously, you are going to be observing things, but obviously take the initiative as well and try and help out where you can, because it needs to be beneficial for both sides. If you've exhausted your friends and family, obviously think about any organisations in your local area. Think about getting in touch with people. Now, this is a really important part of the placement process that a lot of people just neglect and don't think much about. But you're going to gain some really good skills with this. Mel in the careers service can really help you with this if you are worried about doing these things. But a really important part of the process is ringing up managers, speaking to heads of organisations, going in person, dressed, ready, going into the organisations and asking, can you come in for a placement? So it's about sending emails, it's about sending professional emails. These are really, really important skills you're going to develop to try and get this placement yourself. So think about targeting a few organisations. Probably the first few that you ask probably won't. You're probably going to need to ask a few organisations. It's a numbers game. You're going to have to try and find as many as you can. But again, this is all part of the process. This is going to be really helpful. And this will be mirrored when you start to look for work when you finish the degree. So it's really helpful. And a lot of our graduates say how helpful this process actually was when they look back to it. So think about, when you are speaking to maybe if you're working as a head teacher in a secondary school or a play group or a PRU, be professional. Obviously, you are in that short window of the email, giving a little window to yourself. You need to also think about selling yourself. This is a placement. It's going to be great for you, but what's actually in it for the placement organisation? So remember to say that obviously you're going to be able to help and support them over the 24 hours. So for example, if you're looking for experience in a secondary school, then maybe you could help in more of a teaching assistant capacity and helping the teacher and supporting the teacher. Same for a PRU, same for a play scheme, same for a play group. Take some time to think about, it needs to be beneficial for both sides, and sell yourself. I know us British aren't very great at doing that, but we need to do that, and you need to get into the habit of that, especially when you go and start to look for jobs. So this is a good opportunity. I know a number of employers and a number of organisations and definitely schools are worried about the COVID safety. Obviously, as part of your workflow, you need to complete a risk assessment. So stress that to these employers, to the organisations, and say, look, this is something you're going to do. The placement officer is going to help with this. We're going to make sure you're completely compliant. There'll be videos to help you do this, but this is definitely worth mentioning to them. Again, it makes it a lot easier for any organisation. They just don't want any headaches. They just want this to run smoothly. Set out the expectations for the setting. They'll want to know, what do you need to do within these 24 hours? So it is an observational capacity, but again, you can help to support. Take the initiative. Whilst you're there, it would be really good if you could help the organisation, so that when you leave, it leaves in a better condition. So, turning up on time. When you're there, not being on your phone all day. This is meant to be, it's an observational role, yes, but you do need to take the initiative and try and engage with it as well. The power of chocolate. We all know the power of chocolate. I know a number of you have said that you can't find a placement, but all you've done is pick up the phone and ring people. The power of chocolate, going into an organisation with some chocolate and say, look, could you please help me out? I need to find a placement for this module. Here is some chocolate, and you will be surprised. You've got to think there are PGCE students, there are other universities, education students looking for placements. Now, they'll all be doing the same thing as you. If you do something slightly different, chocolate really helps. I know when I was in schools, if I was having a student in my class, it would always really, really help if there's chocolate involved, and you don't mind so much then. The organisations, these schools, they're giving up their time to help you. So, think about that in the back of your head throughout this process, whether it's chocolate or whether you're going to help them in some way. It needs to be beneficial for both sides. That is so important for you to think about. Chocolate helps. If you are really, really struggling, Mel in the career service has really kindly said that she will help you with emails, with phone calls, with going into organisation. If you're really worried about speaking to organisations, managers, CEOs, that sort of thing, she can help you. She's the first port of call. She could even, she's got loads of links. So she's got some organisations that are alternative school that you could speak to her about. I'll include Mel's detail on the Moodle page. Also, Alex is absolutely brilliant. Alex Skinner, he's in the video guide. He works in the placement office. Now, both Mel and Alex do not want you guys to just straight away default to them. The whole point of this is you go out, you try and gain some skills in making some emails, making some phone calls, going into places. That is part of the placement. So they won't be so happy to help you if you haven't tried yourself. So try yourself first. If you really can't get anywhere and you've rung a number of places, you've been into a number of organisations, you've given out some chocolate and it's not happening, then go and see them. And they're more than happy to help. Finally, I keep banging on about this, but it's so important. This is the university procedure. You need to use the workflow. The workflow will be filled out by yourself. On there are a series of steps you need to go through. And there, Alex can see in the placement office if people are struggling, if they can't find placements. If you're stuck on level 3, you can't find that placement, so you can't do the risk assessment, so you can't get signed off, well, then he'll probably be in touch with you. If you just ignore the workflow, he can't help you. I can't stress this enough. Guys, you've got loads of time to do this, but this module is starting in March. So it's going to come around really, really quickly. If you don't have a placement, potentially you could fail that element of the module. And surely you don't want to do that. You've been given enough time. You've given pretty much a year to find a placement. So please use those steps I've just mentioned. Use the placement office. Use the career service. Use the workflow. Good luck. Looking forward to seeing what organisations you guys start to work in. Got any problems, questions, issues? Obviously, look on Moodle, go on the forum, or get in touch with me. See you soon.